Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Listen, if you're a South Carolina duck hunter and you hunt public land and you're tired of going out to these Category 1 wildlife management areas and not seeing any or just shooting a few ducks, you really need to watch this presentation. The historic Wedgefield Association put together a short presentation. It's about 10 minutes long. They have given me not only written but verbal permission to put this video out. So, if you're a South Carolina duck hunter and you want to know what's going on in our WMA Cat 1s, you need to watch. So, here we go.
South Carolina waterfowlers, rise up and vote. The South Carolina Department of Natural Resources owns approximately 31,000 acres of manageable waterfowl habitat in Category 1 waterfowl management area properties. These are the graphs showing the annual waterfowl harvest on 5 major Category 1 waterfowl management areas over the past 13 years. Many years during this period, North American waterfowl populations were at historic highs. This decline in Category 1 waterfowl management area harvest is the result of the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources' failure to provide quality habitat on Category 1 properties for wintering migratory waterfowl. Bear Island Waterfowl Management Area, 10,500 acres, has experienced a 52% decline in waterfowl harvest since 2010. Broad River Waterfowl Management Area, 100 acres, has experienced a 41% decline of waterfowl harvest since 2010. Santee Delta East Waterfowl Management Area, 1,000 acres, has experienced a 100% decline in waterfowl harvest since 2010. Santee Delta West Waterfowl Management Area, 500 acres, has experienced a 100% decline in waterfowl harvest since 2010. Samworth Waterfowl Management Area, 950 acres, has experienced a 100% decline in waterfowl harvest since 2010. These 5 major waterfowl management areas have experienced a 64% decline in waterfowl harvest since 2010. This is state government at its worst. The South Carolina Department of Natural Resources Board has the responsibility of overseeing all agency land holdings. This includes maintenance and management of these Category 1 waterfowl management areas for the benefit of the public and the waterfowl resource. The South Carolina Department of Natural Resources Board is appointed by the governor and approved by the Senate. Correcting this collapse of Category 1 waterfowl management areas is also the General Assembly's responsibility. Based on the annual waterfowl harvest report, the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources Board, through their lack of action, has proven they cannot or are not willing to facilitate change. Transparency is the ultimate disinfectant of the political process. Transparency is what the electorate expects and deserves. However, after informing the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources Board last fall of hunter frustration with the Department of Natural Resources' lack of transparency, the board has continued to allow the Wildlife Division to omit several Category 1 waterfowl management areas from the annual harvest report. This is done to hide the fact that Category 1 waterfowl management areas remain out of the public draw hunt rotation due to poor quality habitat. Clearly, the board approves of the Wildlife Division's submissions. The Wildlife Division should not be allowed to continue to fail South Carolina waterfowlers. Year after year, zero harvest on multiple Category 1 waterfowl management areas is totally unacceptable. The board needs to stop listening to the staff's excuses and start looking at the harvest numbers. The South Carolina Department of Natural Resources Board needs to do its job. Money is not the problem. How these Category 1 properties are being managed is the problem. The source of the problem starts at the top. Every waterfowler needs to listen. Shockingly, in late 2022, the Wildlife Division published a report entitled Sam Worth WMA Wetlands Review. This report stated, and I quote, "Some impoundments may need to be eliminated," end quote. Some board members saw this presentation. Does the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources Board approve of this? If the Wildlife Division is allowed to eliminate rice fields because of their inability to manage, who is to say this trend will not continue? South Carolina's historic tidal rice fields are finite. These rice fields are unique state treasures. They should be protected and managed, not eliminated and abandoned. As shown through the 2022-2023 season, many of the largest Category 1 waterfowl management areas have declined significantly over the past 13 years, with several being totally inoperable over the past 3 to 7 years. Anecdotal reports suggest that progress is being made on restoring these waterfowl management areas. Ultimately, future waterfowl harvest reports will tell the story. At the end of the day, the long-term results on Category 1 wildlife management areas fall on the board and top-tier management. Over the past 13 years, the board has watched the Wildlife Division fail in managing these waterfowl harvests to the point where several produce zero ducks harvested. They have defended the Wildlife Division's failures. There needs to be a major shakeup. However, continued long-term decline in harvest numbers shows the board's inability to make tough decisions with respect to enacting change in statewide waterfowl management. In 2022, the Governor and General Assembly were informed of the Category 1 waterfowl management area collapse. They also need to be held accountable for these failures. Waterfowlers should contact the Governor and General Assembly by email to explain the problem. Do not accept promises. You have been promised for 13 years that things would change. There will be an update presentation prior to the November 5th, 2024 election. Moving forward, there will be an annual presentation before each subsequent election. The South Carolina waterfowler has the power to correct the situation in the voting booth. If the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources Board will not facilitate change, hopefully the General Assembly will. Encourage your spouses, children, extended family, friends, and vendors to use their vote to chip away at this problem.